The recent study by the University of Oklahoma highlighting the connection between iron levels and cognitive performance during menopause brings much-needed attention to a silent but potentially serious health issue. While menopause is often discussed in relation to hormonal shifts and their impact on the body, the findings from this study suggest that micronutrient imbalances, especially iron deficiency, may pose a much more insidious threat to the mental clarity and neurological health of women in midlife. What makes this particularly concerning is how often these signs are overlooked, misattributed, or dismissed as merely part of aging. Iron deficiency is commonly associated with fatigue and weakness, but the cognitive dimension of its impact is vastly underrecognized. The research, published in Nutrients, revealed that women transitioning through menopause who had lower than expected iron levels, even without clinical anemia, demonstrated significantly slower cognitive responses. We're not talking about dramatic, easily detectable lapses in function, but subtle delays that accumulate in meaningful ways. A 150 millisecond delay in processing sounds trivial in isolation, but across an entire day of thinking, speaking, and reacting, these small delays can aggregate in a noticeable cognitive fog, memory lapses, and reduced processing speed. These symptoms are frequently reported by menopausal women, yet rarely linked to iron status, making this a potentially widespread, undiagnosed issue. Even more concerning is the fact that iron testing is not part of standard gynecological checkups during menopause, which creates a blind spot in preventative care. Many healthcare providers continue to focus primarily on estrogen levels and bone density, while overlooking the role of essential nutrients that are fundamental to brain function. Women are often left to navigate their own symptoms, confusion, visual disturbances, memory difficulties, without any concrete explanation or guidance, which can lead to misdiagnosis, unnecessary anxiety, and poor quality of life. This gap in care is made worse by the assumption that iron levels naturally increase after menopause due to the cessation of menstruation. While it's true that women stop losing iron monthly, this does not guarantee optimal levels. Diet, absorption issues, and chronic inflammation can all impair iron availability even in postmenopausal women. Worse still, the assumption that higher iron in the blood might lead to dangerous brain iron accumulation has likely discouraged some from considering iron supplementation. However, this study offers a critical nuance. Blood levels of iron do not directly correlate with iron accumulation in the brain, and normal or even slightly elevated serum iron appears not to raise the risk of neurological damage. That clarification is vital, but it does not eliminate the underlying risk of having too little iron to support cognitive health. The potential public health implications are enormous. If iron deficiency, without anemia, is contributing to cognitive decline in midlife women, it could represent a modifiable risk factor for more serious neurodegenerative diseases down the line. As the study notes, iron is essential for dopamine production, a neurotransmitter deeply involved in memory, motivation, and visual processing. A persistent shortage may not only impair daily function, but accelerate age-related cognitive deterioration or increase vulnerability to conditions like Alzheimer's, which already disproportionately affect women. Unfortunately, the study's impact is constrained by its limited sample size, a result of pandemic-era restrictions. But rather than diminishing its importance, this should be a call to action. The lack of comprehensive research on menopause and cognition is part of a broader pattern of underinvestment in women's health. Menopause affects half the global population, yet the biological, neurological, and emotional effects of this transition remain insufficiently understood, poorly supported, and often dismissed by mainstream medicine. The fact that this transitional phase, often accompanied by anxiety, mood swings, insomnia, and now we learn possible mental confusion due to micronutrient deficits, is treated as a minor inconvenience rather than a major health event is a disservice to women everywhere. Moreover, potential interventions are not without their risks. Iron supplementation, though seemingly simple, comes with a range of gastrointestinal side effects and must be carefully managed to avoid toxicity. This is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Oversupplementation in women who are not deficient could lead to harmful oxidative stress or damage to organs. The message here is not to self-medicate, but to demand better screening, more precise diagnostics, and a more nuanced understanding of how menopause alters nutrient dynamics in the body. If left unaddressed, this issue may quietly contribute to widespread cognitive decline in a growing demographic. With life expectancy rising, more women are spending nearly one-third of their lives in postmenopause. Ensuring that they remain cognitively sharp, emotionally balanced, and physically healthy during this time should be a public health priority, not an afterthought. Ignoring warning signs like iron-related brain fog could lead to a cascade of preventable neurological deterioration that will only grow in scale and consequence if not met with timely medical attention and systemic change.